Hey guys, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel, and let's talk about the Bridgerton books today. So it's been almost a month and I have rewatched Bridgerton season 2 100 times and I'm still obsessed with it, so I decided to read the series. I'm not reading them in order, I'm kind of reading them based on what characters I liked from the show. So I had to start off with the Viscount Who Loved Me first. This was an Enemy to Lovers. It is very, very different than the show. So if you're reading it and you have watched the show first, completely different. And I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I read the book before the show actually came out, so I read it about a week or two before because the trailer was so good and their chemistry was amazing. I knew I had to read this book. So it is still enemies to lovers. Anthony's still looking for a wife and he finds Kate. There's so many things that I could point out that are different than the show and the book and what I liked and didn't like, but I'm not here to make comparisons because I could go on for hours. But I did like the book. There are a lot of things that are different. One of the main things that just comes to mind right now is the bee scene. It's very different. It's very pivotal for the book itself. It is pivotal for the show as well, but in a very, very different way. I really liked Kate's character more in the show. She's still supposed to be older and coming into the season trying to get Edwina a husband. Edwina is still going after Anthony, but it's a little different, and the way Kate and Anthony get together is very, very different. But I did really enjoy the book. Edwina's character I liked more in the books than I did the show, and Anthony's character, I really like what they did with his character in the show as well. I did like him better in the show as well. But I do recommend reading the book if you really liked the show. It still has the enemies to lovers. There's still the banter going on. I really did enjoy this one as well. Next one that I actually ended up reading was On the Way to the Wedding, which is Gregory's book. Now, I only picked it up because I saw someone say that there is a line somewhere in this book that Gregory says that he believes in love because of Kate and Anthony. So I had to immediately get it and read it. Knowing nothing about Gregory, I went into it just thinking he was really cute from the show. I did end up really liking this book as well. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. One was A Friends to Lovers. We had Gregory who saw Hermione from across the room at a ball at Aubrey Hall, and he immediately fell in love with her. And while trying to court her, he actually befriends Lucy, who is best friends with Hermione. And Lucy really wants Hermione to marry someone who isn't this person that she's fallen in love with. So Hermione is actually in love with someone else, and Lucy, being Hermione's best friend, knows this but doesn't approve of that person. So she goes along to help Gregory to court Hermione, and that way Gregory and Lucy become friends. Really fast read. And then the other 2 books that I've read for the brothers, I thought Gregory's character is really wholesome. I'm really excited to see if they actually get to that season in the show because I really liked his character, and I absolutely loved some of the Kate and Anthony moments. You also get to see Kate being the Viscountess and all of her duties of hosting a ball, and Kate's interactions with Gregory. I loved them so much because you haven't really seen much of that in the show or in the other books that I've read. Same with Gregory's interactions with Hyacinth and his other siblings and his older brothers, even his mom. I really liked the interactions. You got to know about his character a little more that you haven't really got to know about. You also get to see the brothers after their books as well, so that was really wholesome. The third Bridgerton book that I read was Offer from a Gentleman. This is Benedict's book. This is actually the 3rd book in this series. This one's a little different. I went into it obviously knowing that they did change the characters a little bit. I really liked Benedict in season 2. I even liked him in season 1. But reading the book, he's very different. So if you're going into the book like I did, knowing that he's different but still expecting him to kind of be the same as the show, it's really not. He is very different. There's certain things that I didn't really like about this book. Certain characteristics, I guess, about Benedict that I didn't love. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This one took me a little longer to read than the other, and I didn't enjoy it much. I feel like it was more of a slower read. If you could see the shoe on the book, a little bit of a Cinderella retelling with Sophie, who's kind of lived this Cinderella-esque life with her stepmother and her 2 step-siblings. She is a legitimate child of an earl, and so when he dies, she's been living with her stepmother who treats her like a servant. So essentially, she is now a servant. And one day for the masquerade ball that Lady Bridgerton, Benedict's mom, is hosting, she ends up going to this ball with a mask on and in this like beautiful silver dress, and there she meets Benedict, who falls in love with her, seeing her across the room, talking to her for the first time, having to go home around midnight. Sure, her step siblings and her stepmother don't find her. She leaves behind a glove that has initials embroidered on it, and it actually takes a little bit of a time jump. So 2 years later, you can see where Benedict is and you see where Sophie is after that night at the masquerade ball. In the beginning, there were aspects of this book that I didn't really enjoy. Things about Benedict's characters that I also didn't really enjoy. I don't want to say any spoilers here, but if you really did like Benedict in the show, I wouldn't recommend this book, only because I personally didn't like his character in this book compared to the show. Those are the 3 Bridgerton books that I have read so far. This is the second one. This is the third one, which is Benedict's story, and the 8th one, which is Gregory's story. Don't know if I'm going to be reading the rest of this series. I didn't really care for a lot of the characters in the show, if I'm being honest. Kate and Anthony are my favorite. I do want to read Hyacinth, because in Gregory's book, Hyacinth's character I really like. She's really cute, and I really want to read that. Plus, I heard Francesca's book was good as well, so I might add that to my list. And I don't think I'll be reading Colin and Penelope's books. I don't really care for them, so I might not read their book. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you like and subscribe. Also, I've linked my TikTok and my Instagram down below. If you have read any of the Bridgerton series, or you are planning on reading them, comment down below what you thought about them or which books that you are thinking about reading.